untuk penerbangan segera. Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, yeah.
Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the
Hi everyone, at this point of the video, I'd like to talk about why I'm not recommending Malaysia Airlines for international flights. So some background, Malaysia Airlines is the flight carrier of my home country, Malaysia, which is where I was born. It was my favorite airline until this year, and I used to fly everywhere with them. I flew domestic flights, international flights, many flights from Miri to Kuching, Miri to Kuala Lumpur, from Kuala Lumpur to Adelaide, Kuala Lumpur to London, Rome to Kuala Lumpur, many flights. And I always thought back then that they would continue to be my favorite airline. However, I have been sorely tested due to an outstanding refund. I purchased what they had advertised as a fully refundable flex economy fare in July last year. It was meant to be my ticket for my trip to Malaysia last month in March. So it was a Brisbane Kuala Lumpur return flight. In November, they advised that one of the routes had been cancelled. So in my opinion, I believe that if the airline cancels the route, they owe the refund. It's no questions asked, the refund should just be processed. But with Malaysia Airlines, without informing me, they rebooked me on Kuala Lumpur, Melbourne, Brisbane. So with a transit in Melbourne. So I didn't want that. If I'm flying Malaysia Airlines, then I want to fly direct to Kuala Lumpur because I then have 2 other domestic flights to take because there's no direct flight to my hometown in Miri, Sarawak. So I got in touch with them, and it's actually not easy to get in touch with Malaysia Airlines. And this is the one of the very negative things I would say about Malaysia Airlines is their customer service when something goes wrong. So there have been many emails using the contact form, phone calls, trying to talk to someone. They've got a call center in the Philippines, and then there's a call center in Malaysia, and it's just been a terrible experience. And I still haven't got my refund. And on top of that, they lie. So they say things like, your refund is already done, ma'am. Your refund was done in December. And then when I press for, well, what was the date? The bank account details that the refund was processed to, because it's not in my bank account. They go, actually, it's not yet done. So I don't know what the issue is. Is it because the notes are in English and the people who answer the phone don't understand that initiated is not the same as processed? And can't they see that there are no bank account details on my file? So this has been going on since November, and to me it's unacceptable, and I'm rather embarrassed and sad that my once favorite airline and the flag carrier airline for Malaysia, it has reduced itself to this sort of trickery in order to retain money which rightfully should be returned to the customer. So this is the situation, and it is on this basis that I can't recommend Malaysia Airlines for international flights. There are others with similar experiences, such as turning up to the airport for a flight in December only to find out at the airport that the flight had been cancelled, and all the rigmarole that came with that cancellation. So that's still an ongoing issue, and I will be making another video specific to the saga that I've had to endure to try and get my refund. But in relation to this domestic business class flight, it was top-notch. Malaysia Airlines, unfortunately, is the only airline that operates domestically in Malaysia that has a full service business class, and they do an excellent job of it. and I really enjoyed that flight. It was very comfortable. It was meant to be 2 and maybe 15 minutes in the air, and they arrived early in Miri by about 20 minutes. So service from check-in to the Golden Lounge, which is the business class lounge, right to boarding, to being in the plane, the service on the plane, and the baggage being handled. It was all excellent. The Golden Lounge, it was very comfortable, there was ample seating. In one part of the lounge there was a view of the planes, if you were interested in that. There was hot food, cold food, salads, little cakes for dessert, option of self-service coffee, tea. It was a really nice lounge experience, and they are the only airline that operates domestically in Malaysia that has a business class lounge. And at the time that I was traveling on that Kuala Lumpur to Miri route, it was only the Kuala Lumpur airport that had a lounge. In isolation, I can recommend flying Malaysia Airlines domestically. I actually had a return business class ticket, but I'm only talking about the Kuala Lumpur to Miri leg in this video. And I actually think it's really worth it to experience the lounge and as well the full meal service on board. And on this leg, I also had like a personal screen that I could watch movies on, and they had a decent selection of entertainment. I really enjoyed watching Super Pets. At this point, the recommendation is with a big caveat. I feel like Malaysia Airlines is going through some sort of major upheaval, that their customer service and not the airport service, not the in-flight service, but trying to get in touch with them about your flight, trying to get in touch with the people on the phone, people on the email, and then the lies that they tell, the delaying tactics when they say, oh, it will be 5 to 6 working weeks, and then they lie that they didn't receive your bank account details, and then I think this is an attempt to restart the 5 to 6 working week waiting period. And that waiting period is honestly rubbish, because I gave that money to them in July. So that money should just be sitting around in an account until the point where I take the flight. And because I canceled well in advance of that flight date, I canceled in November, that refund should already be in my account. So bear this in mind. Bear this experience in mind if you are considering, and the flights prices might look attractive. The economy flights sometimes may appear cheap, but they are prone to canceling routes, and then it becomes your problem, not theirs. And then they will try to retain your money like thieves. They are fraudulently selling those tickets with claiming that they are fully refundable. So I will definitely be uploading a video dedicated to that. And I mentioned this in one of my previous videos. If you are flying Malaysia Airlines, it flies out of the original KLIA, the first one. And that's, to me, the better airport of the two. I did fly KLIA 2 6 years ago, and 6-7 years ago, and it felt more like a glorified bus station. So KLIA, the original one, is my preference. And my recommendation, if you are flying out of KLIA, is to make sure you leave, and you're coming out of central Kuala Lumpur, my recommendation is that you make sure you leave yourself ample time to get to that airport, because it's quite a distance. And if you made it this far, please consider subscribing. It would mean so much to me. And thank you so much for those who have continued to support my channel. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!